everyone, I welcome you to Microsoft Packages. In this session, we are going to see how we can print our documents, and we are going to see how we can check out our spellings and how we can check out the size and the grammar of a document. So we are going to use this document we have been using, and we are going to see how do we cross-check out the grammar, the spellings, um, the margins, the layout, and then after checking everything, you are able to print your document. First of all, you're going to see how do we check the spellings. Most especially, you can sometimes you open a document and you find it has red lines and blue lines. Let's see if this document has any red or blue lines. It doesn't have. Let's say you have made you have misspelled the word. It will give you some line. This is blue line, and the blue line is always meaning grammar, which means the grammar you have used is wrong and the word will complain. Maybe you have misspelled the word. Let me say, instead of school, maybe you miswrote it and you wrote it like this. So the computer will also complain, and this time it will bring a red line, which means a red line is for spellings and the blue line is for grammars. Maybe you have your sentence, maybe the grammar is wrong, and then the computer will complain by bringing you a blue line. Then for spelling errors, it will bring you a red line. So we shall see how do we collect these grammars and the spellings of a document, of any text in the document, and how do we add some words in a built-in dictionary. Because when you are checking the spellings, the computer always suggests for us the spellings it has in its dictionary. So if we find we have a word and the computer is complaining on it, and for us it is the right word, so and we want to add it in the dictionary of the computer, so how do we add a word in the computer dictionary so that it doesn't complain about that word if it is correct and maybe the computer is not recognizing it? How do we add that word in the built-in dictionary of the computer? So we shall see all of those, and I've told you the blue line is for grammar and the red line is for spellings. Then let us see how we correct the words and we remove these lines that appear in our document. If it is a blue line, you can right click on that word which has a blue line, and the computer will suggest for you what it thinks it's correct. So after suggesting for you and you have realized maybe it is the right thing, you can click on it and it will appear. And still it is complaining, so you can still click and it will keep on suggesting for you. And maybe if you realize that what it has suggested for you, maybe it's not what you want, and maybe what you have written is what you want, we also have that option of ignoring, so you can ignore the complaint and move on to other things that you're doing. So we can easily click on ignore if you want to ignore that complaint, or if you don't want to ignore, you can select any option that the computer suggested for you and you can use that option and move on to other move on checking to other texts. Then we have this red line which is showing us the spelling error, and this spelling error, it can also be corrected in the same way we corrected the grammar error, by right clicking on that word which has a complaint and cross check in the options the computer has suggested for you. So we are going to right click on this word and the computer will suggest for you, did you want to write schools or you want to write schools? So if you want this one, you will click on it and the computer will correct it for you. Or if at all you don't want it, and maybe for you you want to just ignore, you realize that the spelling you have is the correct one, but the computer is still complaining, so you can ignore the complaint, ignore all, and it will be ignored. So if you realize you have a word, it is correct, and the computer is complaining about it, and maybe for you you want to include it in the built-in dictionary of the computer, so that whenever you write it, it will not be complaining again. So we are going to see how do we add words in the built-in dictionary of the computer. Let's say we have written this word. We have written this word and it is wrong, and the computer is complaining about it. But for you, you are sure that it is the right word you want to write, and you want to add it in the computer's dictionary, which is built in within the computer. You can easily right click on that word. Then we have this option of add to dictionary. So you click on add to dictionary, it will ignore the complaint, and whenever you write this word, it will not complain about it again. So let me try to copy it and I paste it somewhere, and the computer will not again complain on it. Let me paste it here, maybe. So I want to paste it here now. So you see, the computer will no longer complain about that word. If you're sure it is right and you want to keep on using it, you can add it to the computer's built-in dictionary, and the computer will no longer complain about that word, since it will be added to its dictionary. Or if you keep on ignoring, which means the moment you write that word, it will keep on complaining and you keep on ignoring. But if you feel you don't want the computer to ignore about that word again, to complain about it, you put it in a computer's built-in dictionary by clicking, you right click, and then you can add to dictionary. You right click, then add to dictionary. So that's how we can add words to the built-in dictionary of the computer. So let's see, how do we use the help functions? You realize maybe you want to look for help, and you want to do something and you can't find it, and you want to look for help. How do you use the available help functions? Most especially when you have internet, it is when you can, because help functions, they connect you direct to internet, and you can get help from the internet. Maybe you want to do something, so you can use that help function and type in whatever you want to get to have help, and then the computer, the Word document, can connect direct to internet and bring for you the response about what you want. So most especially these help functions, we normally use F1 key on our keyboard, and by clicking on F1, it can bring for us where we can search from. And this is, you can see it is connecting, which means it is connecting to internet. So if you don't have internet, you can't use these help functions. And after you can search, you can go to the search field, and you search, maybe you type whatever you want to search for, and the computer will directly get the responses from the internet. So that's how we can use the available help functions, by pressing F1 key on the keyboard, and it will be able to help us. And this is only if you're connected to internet. So that's how we can use the available help functions. Now we are going to go to a different thing, which is printing. We are going to see how do you print your document you have finished typing everything, you have finished checking the grammar, you have finished checking the spellings, and you have seen if your layout is what you want. And I told you in the previous sessions how we change the orientation. uh, Going to layout, then after layout you can change the orientation that you want. Then after selecting the orientation, then now we can go to the option of printing. The option of printing is found in file. From the menu bar, you just click on file and it will take us to other options where we select print. So by selecting on print, it will give us a new page, and it will bring for us the printing preview, which is this one. So this is how our document will appear. And if you feel maybe it is landscape and you wanted it to be like portrait, so you have to go back and change the orientation. So I will come layout, orientation, it is in portrait already. So when your orientation is okay, you can also go to we have the print layout here. This is the one. So we are going to file, print. After print, we are going to see our preview. So that print preview is fine, and realize it is what you want. So you can go now to select the number of copies that you want. Maybe you want 2 copies or 3 copies or 4 or 5. You have to select the number of copies that you want, and you can type, or you can use this to increase and use the down arrow to increase, or else you can type. Let's say I want 6 copies of them. Then after 6 copies, then you have to select the printer. Here on printer, got the drop down. Maybe they will suggest for you the printers, but of course when you have connected to a printer, it will bring also an option among the options that you have, and you can select the printer type of the printer that you want. After selecting the type of the printer, then you can also set the pages. If you want it to be on 2 pages, like in front and behind, then you can also print, you select the pages, 1 page per sheet. Then you can set all these. Print one-sided, you can select this. Correlated, you can also select this. Portrait orientation, of course that is portrait, we selected it. Then you can resize it from here. Then you can also check the margins by giving it the margin. You see, moderate. So you can select the margins from here. Then 1 page per sheet, or if you want 2 pages or 6 or what, you can also, most especially we use this in PowerPoint. It's where we use the 6 pages or 4 pages. But when we are in a Word document, we normally prefer 1 page per sheet. You can set it from here. Then after setting all that you want, you can easily go to print, and by clicking on print, your document will be printed. Maybe you might find that you have a document and you want to print a certain, maybe you want to select some words and they are the ones you want to print. You don't want to print the whole document. So let's see, how do we identify a certain words or certain paragraphs that we want to print out of the whole document. Let me open the document. I will go back from this arrow. Then I will highlight this. Maybe I want to print only this. I will highlight, Then I go to File, Print. So it will also give me the printing options, and I will also set my options, different options that I want, and then I can easily print my document. So that's how we do the printing, and how we spell the grammar, the spellings, how we check them, how we use the available help functions. And this for this lecture we shall stop here, and we are going to be continuing, and I hope you will still be with me. Thank you.